Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you're here. It is all about making more money in 2023. Tell me, how are you feeling about next year? When I started my dance studio, it was 2008. If anybody remembers that year, it was quite the year with the economy. It was the year that the stock market crashed and the housing bubble burst. So, y'all, I'm gonna use a bad word, excuse me. I thought I was hot shit. I'd gone to business school, I'd been a marketing executive. I'm gonna start a small business. How hard can that be? Hard, right? So, I started the business and it was August. We had a pretty good run. I did know a lot about marketing and positioning to start to work towards building this business, how to position it in a bad economy. And it wasn't the economy where I had some issues. We went through August, we went through the fall. Ooh, back to school. Ooh, dance studio's doing so well. Great. I'm doing awesome. I'm paying myself. This is working. And then I had never thought about the fact that when you own a dance studio, there's the weekend and then there's pretty much 16 days a month that you can make money because the primary business ran Monday through Thursday in the evenings. So I had a very limited amount of time. Some stuff on the weekends, not a whole lot. Now, did great. December, did great. Had a lot of holiday sales. First year in business. Once again, I thought I was doing great. I didn't think about one thing that happens in the winter when you only have 16 days to make money. So I know some of us are in Hawaii, some of us are in Los Angeles, but those of us who are in other parts of the world, what oftentimes happens in the winter? Snow. It snowed 10 of those 16 days in February of that year. And by the end of that month, I had a mere $47 in the bank account. So, what had happened is I'd never thought about what I was going to do when it snowed. We had to close. I had 6 days, 10 of the 16 days, to make the money I needed for the month to pay the rent, to pay at the time there were only a couple of teachers, but to pay the teachers. Whew, whew, almost didn't make it. I had to lend the business money. 3 years later, the same thing happened, but worse because there was a blizzard in North Carolina. I made um, 3 times as much as I had the year before when it hadn't snowed at all because I had a plan and I was planning for seasonality and I'd looked at what had happened before in my business. And the things that allowed me to do that were one, I got a business coach. Her name was Monica. Thank goodness she saved that dance studio. But more importantly, I looked at a couple of key elements. And I've taken those lessons, among many others that I had in running my own business, to develop some key things that I use for business owners to grow, plan, and execute in a way that's on your terms of what you want to have happen with your business. So, I want to talk about why today is important. Why am I talking about 2023 in September? I now work with business owners and myself to plan at least 1 quarter ahead. So, a quarter is 3 months out of the year. So, right now, I start planning for January. The reason that I do that is a business without a plan can start to feel like a hobby where I'm like, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? But I want to start to think about, and this is what we're going to talk about today, what is all the data and information that I can use to create a plan. Now, if we look at 2020, do plans always come to fruition? No, but that's not the point. A plan allows me to make concrete steps towards my vision instead of just reacting to what's happening in the world. And it also works as bumper rails so I don't get way off track. It also allows me to take what I want to do and accordion it depending on what's happening. So today we're going to start to think about planning. And what I really want to talk about is making your business mature. A lot of us have had baby businesses or do have baby businesses. And for the parents in the room, think about how much time and attention a baby takes. Now, people can get stuck in this phase of business, but businesses can mature, and that takes planning and dedication. And we don't have to wait 21 years for it to be a young adult who can take care of itself and survive and thrive on its own. But it takes planning and it takes use of data to start to create a business that will last and will support you and will grow on your terms. So who wants that? Does that sound good to you? So you're like, yes, of course, Lisa. So we're going to talk about 3 things today, and I'd love for you to write this down. These are the 3 key elements of a business of business planning that works. Money, financials. If we don't know how much fuel we have, how much money there is, then we don't know what's going to happen with the business. Secondly, sales and marketing. How am I communicating about how to get that money? These 3 things are related. Money, sales and marketing. It's funny, I kept writing down sales and marketing on my notes and I wrote S&M, but it doesn't have to be that painful. And 3, 3 is, I know I thought of that earlier, 3 is systems and operations, which is how can I do this consistently? Because in baby businesses, I see these 2 things happening. Lisa, I know how much money I made. I know what my profit is. I do effective marketing and it lasts for 3 weeks. It lasts for 3 months. So if I have systems and operations, we want that to run whether or not the owner, you, is on vacation, whether or not you, the owner, is in a good mood or sick or has a sick kid. So we need to take control of our financials. We need to take control of our sales and marketing and create a plan. Stop throwing spaghetti at a wall. And 3, we need to take control of our operations and get consistent. Great businesses rely on consistency. What is my ability to do the same boring thing over and over that's going to allow me to grow the business that I want? Awesome. So let's start by step number 1, money. You have to do the math. Please write that down. Step number 1, do the math. You're like, Lisa, I'm ready. What are you talking about? There are some really basic math problems that we can be doing that will allow us to understand our business. The very first one is, how much money are you actually making? AKA, what's your profit? So, in its most basic terms, a business makes a certain amount of money. To do that, a business spends a certain amount of money. The money that's left is the profit. Many of you have heard me say this before, and I would like you to hear me say it again. Because if you don't know how much money you're actually making, you don't know much about your business. So let's go through the basics really quickly. Revenue is how much money a business makes. There's two kinds of revenue. Gross revenue is the total. Ooh, gross, I don't get to keep it all. Then there's net revenue, which is the total gross revenue minus the expenses. Every single time I see you, talk to you, if I was your coach, you should know what that number is. Because if there is a business, two businesses making $1 million a year, and one of them costs $800,000 to run, that's total expenses, and one of them costs $300,000 to run, which one is more successful, the first one or the second one? Which one do you want? So, yeah, the second. So, your action, I'm going to give you one action for this, is to take the last 2 years of your business, 2021 and 2022, and for each month, figure out the net profit, meaning what's that, the net revenue, net profit, the amount of money you are left with. So, what does this have to do with next year? One, first part of the homework is do the math. Second part of the homework is to learn something. So, if you are breaking even on certain parts of the business, meaning that you're just getting to zero, we want to start to make changes so I can plan my sales and marketing for next year. Awesome. So homework is to figure out that net number for the last 2 years. If you right now just went like this, I don't feel like it. Do you want your business to make more money next year? Do you want to be in control? Math allows you to be in control of your business. Yes. So step one is figure out that number and then make a plan to know that number moving forward. I recently had a client work with me privately for a whole day, a VIP day. And in that, we figured out that the biggest part of her business, she had 3 different parts of her business. The biggest part of her business was making her $0 a month because of staff. The smallest part of her business that got the least attention was making her the most money. So, guess where the sales and marketing money went? Guess what's going away? And now she's going to be making, by just some really basic things, she is going to be making twice as much each month. This is the basis of everything. So, number 2, we've done 1 of 6. Number 2 is I need to understand cause and effect. So I want to be looking at 2 things. What's the total amount of money we've made throughout the business? And then what's the net? So once I look at the 2 years, 2021 and 2022, and if you have 2020, if you have 2020, a lot of people are skipping parts of that year. I don't know if you noticed, a lot of stuff happened in 2020. But what I just did with the business owners, we did 2019, 2021, and 2022 because there was so much change in 2020. And then if I look at that, I think, what is causing the changes I see in the business? So my dance studio, where I made $47 because it snowed so much, I saw that there was a change in the winter. So I didn't go to a baby business move of, oh, I want to make $20,000 a month. I thought in the winter we're going to make less, we'll make more in the spring and the fall, and we created a plan around that. Also, we sold class cards for the winter that had a snow plan and virtual options built in, made 4 times as much. So I'm going to look at the amount of money that I made in those 2 years. And I'm going to talk about if you don't have, if your business is brand new, what to do. And then I'm going to simply look at cause and effect. The other cause and effect I want to look at is my own effort. Oh, I didn't make a lot of money in June of 2019. I was on vacation for 3 weeks and didn't post anything. I made a lot of money. That's when I was really dedicated to my social media efforts. This is all a math problem, but we have to take our emotions out of it. I have to tell you something, in a mature business, it cannot run on how you feel. It's not gonna work. We want to create a business where you're over here. We do care about your feelings. We love you. We want you to be great. But we don't want that to affect the business. We want to understand what are the key drivers that we can turn up or down. Now, a story about this. I had a client whose husband was a recruiter for the Marine Corps, and I was talking to him, meaning he was active in the service, and his job was to sign up a certain amount of people to serve in the Marine Corps with a 4-year commitment, I believe. So, like, not the easiest thing to sell. And they had a quota every month. And I said, what happens if you don't meet the quota? And he said, we don't ever not meet it. Because they knew, go to the schools, have the kiosk in the mall, have online this. And they knew how effective those were. And they would go through the first week of the month, and if they weren't a quarter through the quota, they would turn up the effort at the ones that were working the best. And if they got halfway through the month and they were behind, they turned the effort way up. And then when something like a pandemic happens, they went all to the things that worked online. And while you are not recruiting people to do that, there's a huge lesson there. If 2 weeks through the month, I go, it didn't work. I think people don't like me. Maybe my service isn't good. Yes, we can look at your business. Are you best communicating or doing the best at offering what you offer? Sure, we can look at that. But if people have bought from you previously, then we need to look at that. What do I need to turn up? So instead of this, I come out this, and I just turn up some effort, and I hit my numbers for the month. So if you're a brand new business and you are not sure where that would be because I don't have numbers, you would do it based on perceived effort. And that's a great place to work with a coach to look at what I could expect for my business. Great. So 1 and 2. 1, do the math. 2, map out cause and effect. I'm gonna sneak a third one in there. 3 is figure out your math problem. What are the dials? If I think about, like, I have a gas stove. If the eggs aren't cooking, I turn it up to get that done faster. Okay. Good. If you're uncomfortable dealing with your own money, you and I need to have a conversation. Because you got to be able to deal with money to go out and help people the way you want to help. Because this is what I really want to say to you. If next year is about a mature business, it's not about you. and I love you and I think you're amazing, but it needs to be about your customer. If you make a business that's about serving that person and getting the message to that person, and we take your ego out of it, that's how we're going to turn you into a mature business. Okay, moving on. So I figure out some things about money, and that's going to allow me to set goals for next year. So if I want to make twice as much as I did this year, do I need to just do twice as much effort? I could, but instead I can think about tweaking my effort, making the stove a little stronger so it doesn't have to be my energy. So let's talk about sales and marketing. Tip number 3 is talk to your customer in their language. Talk to your customer in their language. The biggest mistake I see, especially with the baby to tween businesses, is we're still talking about making it about you. We're talking in our own language. So spend the time researching who those people are and help them. Right now, the advice I'm giving you right now isn't the advice for my business. It is for my business 10 years ago. It's the advice for you. Because this whole thing has nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with you. So talk to your customers in their language. It seems really basic and it seems really simple, but I'd love for you to go put eyes on your sales and marketing and start talking to the right people. And in that, I want you to think about benefits, not features. So a lot of times people come to me and they'll say, like, I just bought something from a marketing company we're going to work with. And they were like, we will write 2 emails a week for you and this and this. I don't care. Those are features. How many of something you get. They said to me, Lisa, we're going to increase your response rate by 10%. So you have to worry about this less and you can go out and teach more and we get more people in your classes. That's a benefit. People buy when you meet their need. So talk to your customer. Benefits, not features. If some of you are like, I've taken this class from Lisa, we've done it before. I want you to go look and think, am I talking to myself or am I talking in my marketing in a way that makes me comfortable? That I'm not too salesy or too this. If it's not about you, you go out and talk about how you can help people. Yes. So I want you to evaluate your marketing. That's your homework. And then you make a plan for next year. I make a plan for the entire year, what I'm going to sell when, and that determines what I'm saying to people in my sales and marketing. Number 2, which is actually number 4, make buying easy. So, well, I want you to, even if you're not in a place, Venmo me this or PayPal me that. No, this is how you can purchase from me. But that also means having clear conversations about money, having clear billing, clear contracts. So make a system for that, but make buying easy. And you're like, what's that have to do with sales and marketing? It's part of your sales process. So when somebody decides to buy from me to when we start working together, clean up that process right now and you will make more next year. Within that, I also want you to think what happens from I take your money till we work together. If that's a dead zone, we got to fill that in. How are we preparing people to work with us? How are we giving them bonuses, added value? I want to add a little extra thing here in sales and marketing. Get comfortable with video. It's not going away. This is not one of my 6 things, but especially if you're using Instagram or LinkedIn, video is not going away. Get used to it. And in the idea that it's not about you, just put your face on there, start talking. Or put a slideshow of what you're doing. But use your reels. That's how things are going to sell in the next couple of years. There's also been a trend since the pandemic that people want to interact with you less when they're buying, because we got so used to things being digital that people want an easy way to see what you're talking about. So make a video and tell a story. Awesome. Okay, number 5, it's time for systems, and I sort of touched on systems in sales. This is what I want you to do before the end of this month so we can spend October, November, December planning next year. Evaluate your time and see how much time you are spending, this is very finger waggy of me, on low value activities. Low value activity means that I am doing something that I could be paying less than I make per hour serving my customer to do. And even if you're not paying somebody else, could I automate it? Could I leverage it? But how much time am I spending on low value activities? That's step number 1 in our systems. And then we're going to list that and create a system. Can I reduce my time? Can I hire it out? Or can I automate it? Can I reduce my time? Can I hire it out, or can I automate it? If I'm a mother or a father or a guardian and I only work 20 hours a week, I can't be spending that doing what's called low value activities where I'm working on something below what I could be either generating for the business or earning for the business. So track your time. And within that, are you avoiding the things you should be doing by relishing in those low value activities? I mean, I could go through, oh my God, you know, delights me is on a plane when I just get to clean up my laptop and like put things, organize things. I love stuff like that, but I don't do it when I'm working because I can make more by being here with you than organizing, being on a to-do list. Awesome. So you're gonna evaluate tell me in the comments who when I said that is like, I do some of these things. Oh, I do them all. Yeah. Guilty. And it's like, it's very satisfying. I'll make you a beautiful spreadsheet instead of making reels that will actually sell something to my business. Yeah, it's tangible. It's so, and it's fun and it's gratifying, but that's a baby business activity. Baby business means less money, mature business, more money, and more time for you. Okay. Last, number 6 of 6 things to do is to make yourself some SOPs. SOPs are something that come from bigger businesses called standard operating procedures. There is a book called the Checklist Manifesto, which is about how they gave checklists of how to do something like a heart transplant to surgeons, people who are vastly knowledgeable about what they do, and they saved lives by following steps. Billy Joe, it's so good, right? It's super interesting. because we are humans and we are fallible, and that's what makes us beautiful. But if I have a checklist, this is like my business has a checklist. When Lisa posts something on Instagram, we have to share it. We pull the video, and it's called the Checklist Manifesto, Jane. So SOPs stand for Standard Operating Procedure. If you are a one-person business making $12,000 a year, you should have SOPs. If you are a six-person business making $1.5 million a year, you should have SOPs. And they are standard systems that we use to get shit done. And this will save you time. And when you're ready to hire, you're going to have clear ways of sharing with people what you do. I went this year from a team of 2 to a team of now 6. Because we had SOPs, people can just go in, grab them, and know this is what we do when Lisa gives us a YouTube video. This is what we do when there's a new client. This is going to allow you to make more next year by getting very clear about what I do. So, y'all, I just busted through them, so I'm going to give you a reminder. 1, do the math. How much have you actually been making? 2, use that to look at cause and effect for your business. 3, talk to your customers in their language. 4, make buying easy. 4.5, make a reel. 5, evaluate low value activities and get them off your plate. 6, create systems. This could be your year. This could be screw a year. This could be your decade. I'm not talking about, you see all these internet businesses make $1 million next year. No, I want you to make money over and over and over again and help people over and over and over again. So I am here to provide support for you to go out and create something that supports you and your clients. You are amazing and you are able to do this. Thank you so much.